Elton coming to you live with another episode of Money Monday. And I want to make sure we're live since Facebook's been making all kinds of changes. I think we're only live publicly on my profile and my page. So if you want to see this, you have to be on my profile or page or YouTube because we can't stream in groups anymore. Although we're going to try to figure out a workaround, just not today. So what's up, y'all? Hope everybody had an amazing weekend. I am fired up, jacked up, and excited per usual because we're going to help you go from average to savage in yo business. And I've got Cindy on, who I think she was on in February. She's on again in April. Why? Because she had a record month in January and she had a record month in March. And I always think it's good to acknowledge the people that are growing. How many of us would agree? Because at the end of the day, there's a lot of tips out there. There's a lot of advice. There's a lot of gurus and, top people that are sharing their ideas and concepts. But at the same time, in a lot of cases, there's people sharing things that used to work, or maybe, it works, but not as well as it's working for somebody else that's actually seeing growth and abundance and prosperity and rank advancements and record months and all the things. But what I love about Cindy's story, for those of you that know Cindy and you love Cindy, make sure you smash that heart button. What I love about Cindy is she was not an overnight success. This isn't like she's been doing this for 3 months and killing it. She's breaking records. She's 6 months in. And now she's 5.5 years into her business. And Cindy, would you say it's been almost a year now since you made a little bit of a pivot?
Yeah, almost a year now, because I started kind of really it was April-ish last year where I was getting really tired of not getting any results from my social content. And I started kind of changing it up a little bit. That was when I went to the 3-minute videos. And it felt like it was forever. And then all of a sudden, 3 minutes, I had too much to say, even in 3 minutes. I like to talk too much, apparently. And then probably in July, I switched it, just the umbrella of what I was interested personally just kind of started coming into my content as well in July. And then it really started just kind of taking on a life of its own after that.
But I love that. You were 4.5 years into your business and you had good success, but you were feeling like you were ready for great success. You wanted a breakthrough. You wanted to get to that point where you had so much influence, so many leads, so much coming to you that you wouldn't have to go find the business. So you made some pivots. So talk about that. Talk about 4.5 years ago, where you were at, because I guarantee there's a lot of people watching this. They're going to go, that's me right now. I've been in my business for 3 years, or I've been on social media for 10 years. And, I've flatlined, right? I'm not growing. It's like I've got as many new followers as I have people unfollowing, or whatever that looks like. Or maybe there's people that literally have no idea what kind of content they should create. So talk about kind of where you were and then what helped you make some decisions, different choices in your content creation.
Where I started out with 5.5 years ago was 384 friends on Facebook. And that's really all we had back then was Facebook. And that's all, and it was a picture with a post, with a written post, which I'm not very good at and I don't like doing, but did it because that's what we did. And then, and learned, systems that would help me create leads that way. And then I did have Instagram, but I wasn't really getting any traction whatsoever on Instagram. I was at 3,000 followers on Instagram for, I don't know, as long as I've been on Instagram until last July kind of thing. It was just a little bit here, a little bit there. I would go up 3, lose 10, go up 15, lose 4. You know what I mean? It was never really growing anywhere. It was kind of my, I'll just post this here because I might as well anyways.
So you really weren't even using Instagram. It was kind of like a secondary,
It was. I started using Instagram more when I switched to TikTok about a year into, about 2 years. Freak. I can't even remember how long, but about 2 years in, and then TikTok came around in 2020. So yes, I started 2018, 2020, TikTok came around. started doing TikTok, doing videos. I figured, well, if I'm going to create these videos and I can post them other places, then I might as well post them as many places as I can.
Right.
To get as many eyeballs as I can. And that's where, like, Instagram, I would have said that was my third place to post, because in love with TikTok. Facebook, of course, I'm going to always post there. And this Instagram, I was just like, oh, Instagram. Ugh, seriously. Why can't I get any traction on Instagram? But then Instagram introduced their stories. So that became like automatically something that you want to use all the time. And a lot of different things in stories that you can be very upfront in your stories, because you can get right in behind the scenes, if that makes, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
you can say different things on stories that you could say in a post.
Yeah.
Sometimes, because it's just that more casual. So it just kind of started growing and growing. And then July last year, all of a sudden Instagram decides it loves me. I don't know why, to be honest. Other than I was just consistent, and didn't let up on it. And then I think it was just the content itself. The content itself was pretty hot topic at the time. And the way that I presented it, it took
So you
off.
never did that before. So you never really jumped on like the hot trends before?
Not per se.
Yeah.
Not the content. Two different things I'd say about that. Hot trends on TikTok, as far as TikTok trends, I was doing some of those before because they were working. And that's what we did, 2020, 2021,
right.
a little bit of 2022. And you did those trends, and then hope they're going to translate over. But as far as like paying attention to actual content that people were creating around me, and paying attention to things that, basically I started just really paying attention to things that were going to help me.
Yeah.
And the things that were going to help me, well, if I can use them and I love them and I can learn about them and share them, I'm doing that with my network marketing stuff. Why can't I do it with stuff that I just love?
Right.
And that's when I really opened up to whatever I was using that I thought could help people. If it didn't work, I didn't share it. Or if it does work, I'm like, ooh. Or it didn't work, I was like, oh, maybe not this one, but try this instead.
Yeah.
But just starting to kind of open up that realm of being the influencer and not being the person on just to sell, to sell.
Like, I'm only going to share something that I make money selling you. Yeah. You were sharing things that were working for you, whether you were selling it or not. Maybe you give a couple examples. What were like a couple examples of things that you were like, I'm just going to try this myself and share, not to sell it, not to promote it, just to like, tell people, hey, this is something I'm using.
Oh, for sure. Well, what had kind of popped off was the castor oil. Castor oil became a big topic to use as a natural skincare. And for me, I love that. And I was using it as my 2 C's of anti-aging, my collagen and my castor oil. And I still today do that. Other things like trying out the flaxseed gel mask, trying that out, doing banana peel Botox, like doing all of these things and I want to try them because obviously I need them as well. So if I need them, and maybe the people that are watching me need them, because we're probably all about the same age, and we're getting to that point where like, whoa, like, what can I do to help myself?
Yeah.
But talking about all of that and keeping it within like that aging well kind of realm based on what was I actually searching for myself.
Right.
And people get caught up on the niche thing. What's my niche? Or what's the avatar I'm talking to? That is your search bar. What is your most recent searches that you've searched? How to get rid of rolls on my arms? How to get rid of wrinkles on my neck? All of those things. If you can find something that works for that, or someone's talking about it, you try it. You learn how to use it. You love it. You share it. That's kind of where I headed to. And I wanted that influencer realm of not just talking about one single. Know that I have issues. So maybe maybe whatever I find for mine, it can work for you too.
Right. And you have fun with it.
Totally.
Like if you're not having fun, you're doing it wrong, right? That's one of our favorite, things to share with people. And people are like, "Oh, it's hard." I'm like, "You're not having fun." Like, I'm
No.
stuck in making videos. You're not having fun. Like, you need to have fun with it and stop putting so much pressure on yourself. That would be one of my best tips for those of you that are riding the struggle bus with your content. Like, you're too serious, as Nadia would say, take the stick out of your butt. Like, you gotta have fun with it. And I guess my question for you is, well, first of all, how many followers do you have now?
On Instagram, 211, almost 212,000.
You went from 3,000 for like maybe a couple years,
yeah,
to 211 since a year ago, basically.
August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. 9 months.
That's insane.
And it was really that first, I had a really big, like, right off the bat. So, so there, TikTok is still growing a little bit slower. It's about like 102, 103,000. And then Facebook, don't sleep on Facebook, you guys. Like literally there is tons of things. Now I wish that Facebook had a little bit more automation help with it.
Right.
Like Instagram does, but I've got almost 166,000 followers on Facebook as well. And they're engaged. The thing about Facebook and Instagram is that they're super engaged. TikTok, we're getting there again. We kind of did a little lull, but if you can get those engaged rave, those fans, those friends,
right,
followers, but you treat them like friends, so that, because really, that's the magic of it. If people know that you are literally caring about how they feel and how something is going to help them, that's your magic right there.
Like you're paying attention to the people that are paying attention to you.
Right.
Responding to comments, responding to stories. And so a few questions, getting to some of the technical stuff. Where do you create your videos?
TikTok.
So you create on TikTok, and then are you going live from 3 devices often?
Nope.
What do you do? What do you do as far as live? Because I see you live, but are you live from just Insta?
Just Insta.
Okay.
Yeah, I was doing live Insta and TikTok. I wasn't getting much traction. The thing is that's my fault because I kind of got away from doing it. When you're not consistent at something, you guys, you don't get the attention that you would like to have. Mm-hmm. So if I continue to go live on TikTok again consistently, I would get that attention. I've never done a live on Facebook while I'm doing a live on Instagram. I've never done all 3 at one time. I should do that. I've never done that on Facebook, so I should really do that and see how it goes.
Please try it. I want you to try it. Try it. Here's the caveat. Of course, you have to have 3 devices.
Yes.
Right. But most people do these days. They got kids got iPads and there's old phones laying around. You hook it up to the Wi-Fi. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're going to speak live, why not just have a couple other devices?
Right.
And I have a lot of people, and you know this, right? There's a lot of people right now that are actually getting the most live viewers on TikTok, or they're getting the most sales from Facebook, the most recruits from Facebook. So, if you're going to do a live anyway, like, do you do live every morning? Is that what you do?
Every morning. Yeah.
Every morning.
Sunday is my day to chill. This weekend I did take Saturday and Sunday off because I had one of my kids is going through tryouts right now, and I felt like the emotional roller coaster was just a little too much for me. So I just stayed off live for the weekend. But I did, I was on live this morning. I was out, walking I have a Facebook group now too that I've started. So and we're gonna get a challenge in the Facebook group starting today. So it's a walking challenge. So you better bet this morning it was freezing cold. And I'm on, doing.
Canada's cold in April? No. Yeah.
It was cold. It was freezing. Oh my God.
No, it's freezing here too in Maryland. Yeah.
Is it? Yeah.
Like 54 right now. I mean, it's not freezing, but it's definitely not what it was last week when it was 82. So yeah. This time of year is funky. But I love that. So you're literally walking?
I was walking this morning.
Yes, I guess in that situation you got to pick one device. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey guys.
Just let me set you up here. We'll go, no problem. But then I did that in my Facebook group, but then I came home and I was live in my Instagram after that, because my Instagram I'm usually at a certain timing, so they know when to expect you.
Right.
Give them that consistency, and I try to stay, because it's people expect you then, so respect their time as well. and show up when you say you're going to show up.
Right.
You know,
A lot of people struggle with that. It's funny. They're like, when do I go live? I'm like, what works for you? Like, if I say to go live every day at 12 and you're like, oh, I'm at work, or, in the morning, like I drive an hour to work, or, after work, oh, I got the kids. Like, you decide. And then eventually you get to the point where you're like, I really like doing, like for me, I like doing them, like after a workout, before lunch, or, kind of in that like late morning, early afternoon. That's what works for me. Some people do them at 6 a.m. right before anybody wakes up in their house, or they do it after work. You have to do what's best for you, but you get to that point where you're kind of conditioning. You're conditioning your audience, like, oh, okay, so she's live every morning at this time, or every day at this time, or once a week, like Money Monday. We know every Monday, 1 p.m. Eastern, like we're going live, whether it's an interview or me by myself or Nadia and I. So I think that's really important to figure that out. But you're not going to just, so many people get caught in their head. They're like, when should I do this? And what should I do that about? Da, da, da. You just got to test. Every post, every video, look at it as practice. Every time you put some piece of content out there, you're testing don't worry about the views and the engagement, especially in the beginning. But if you're like Cindy and you're kind of stuck after years of doing something, what's great about the different platforms is you can say, you know what, it's kind of doing good over here, but it's not doing good over here. So let me pivot just on the one platform. Let me try some different content out over here and kind of test things out versus messing up what I'm already doing over there. So that's another thing that some of you that maybe are on multiple platforms and you're so much in your head about it, maybe say, hey, this platform, Instagram, for a lot of you, I think what Cindy said is so true. It's like it's not even the secondary platform. Most of you, that's like your third platform, right? And you're like, hey, like, let me start messing around over here and try out some different conversations or types of content. And you mentioned something I was going to ask you. You said you started doing 3-minute videos. Were those good or not good for you?
They on TikTok were really good at the time because it's paying attention to what each platform is pushing.
That's true.
Well, and just be cognizant of what is actually working or what they're telling you, because the platform will tell you what is working right now. Like TikTok has creator insight search or something like that. Creators insight search. If you type that in on the creator bar and it comes up with all the things that TikTok is going to push, you pick one of those and you do your video from there. It's telling you what is going to be successful. Exactly. So at the time, that 3 minutes were really great. And I was talking about making smoothies and bananas and all of this stuff, collagen, all of this stuff in 3 minutes. The one thing I found, and when it started kind of, so the one thing I found was that 3 minutes though didn't translate too easily to be posting on my other platforms.
That's true.
So you're making 3 because I needed a minute and a half on my Instagram and my Facebook. So I was always I was cutting it down and trying to make it, faster, whatever, just trying to like repurpose it. Because again, why am I going to remake something that I've already made? So trying to condense it down, and I could, but then I just got smart and started just making minute and a half videos on TikTok that translated everywhere else. So like Pinterest, my Pinterest views have all of a sudden like skyrocketed. Wow. So it's like, it's so bizarre, but Pinterest, like everywhere. And that's what I always say to people.
Are they doing the short form videos too, I guess?
Yeah.
I guess every platform. So I had Kayla Betts on some training or video. I can't remember where it was. She was talking about Snapchat. So it's like, every platform, YouTube shorts. I mean, and this is the part where people get overwhelmed. But again, you said it. You make it on one platform and then you hire a VA that can help you upload it on all the other platforms. I mean,
well, here's what you do. So you make it, it's ready to go. You've got it all edited. You write your caption. You copy that caption.
Right.
You post it there, and then you go to Instagram, Reel, add your video, paste your caption, done. Go to Facebook, do the same thing. Like, it's not hard. Or I think there's even like, I don't know, what is it called? There's different platforms you can use that will post multiple places, like Hootsuite or whatever. I don't do that, but if you have that caption done, boom, 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 you can do 4 of them within a minute, and it's done. And then I'm like, whoa, walking away.
Exactly. Let's see what happens. What is your mindset on promoting product? Because everybody's a little different. So I always like asking that question. Like, Are you like, 20% of the time? Are you like for a while you don't do it for 2 weeks and you come with a promo? Like, what's your mindset on like promoting the actual products you do monetize?
I weave them in now. Where before, in the first 4.5 years, it was product, product,
Yeah,
product, product,
every
product.
day,
It
every
was
day.
every day the same thing every day. And I think there is some value to that. People expect you to be talking about it. Um, but for me, it wasn't working very well anymore. People were it was like they were deaf to it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, but this is really good. How can you get you to pay attention? I can't, and I'm trying all these TikTok trends and I'm trying to whatever. And it's just wasn't, it was just white noise at that point. So now what I really focus on more now than anything is how does it make you feel?
Mm.
And if I need something, if I want to talk about collagen, and I still post my before and after once a week, maybe
Mm-hmm.
once every week and a half or two, because I want them to see what I'm so proud of has happened,
Right.
and I want them to know how it makes me feel. So it's about about feeling good in the skin that you're in. That's what I'm talking about. Collagen is a foundation to that. So I will weave that into that story, but I will also be talking about the other things that I'm doing as well, and then trying some new things, and it just kind of all layers on each other.
Can we
Rather
talk
than
about how important that is, though? That this is such an important piece. This is how you build influence. You don't have to be an influencer, but eventually you want to build some influence to build the know, like, and trust. Like, how many of us smash the heart button if you're like, my warm market tapped out? My following not responding because of exactly what Cindy's talking about. Like, she's sharing things that she doesn't make money on. Like, I know this is a crazy concept, but you can talk about things that you don't monetize. I know that's like talk about stuff that you use, that you like, how you feel, like you said. And when you're promoting those things, and someone goes, well, what's the link or what's the company or what's this, what's that? You go, oh, just go here, or you can look it up, or hey, I do have a discount code, right? So sometimes you do
yeah,
have
yeah.
affiliate and stuff, but
Oh, like
the day it
Amazon.
doesn't have to be
Sure.
like I'm only going to talk about things that I sell and monetize,
Right.
because that actually looks like you always have an agenda. And what's great about you is you weave in your story, your sense of humor, you're very consistent, you test out different conversations, and I think it just comes across, as we always talk about, as authentic, which is the most important piece.
You have to. You
Yeah.
have to be. You have to be you, and that's you said it earlier. If you're trying to sound like somebody else, you're gonna sound like somebody else. My kids would say you sound like an NPC. Like, are you like a just go like this. But it's you don't sound like yourself, and
Yeah.
you don't give yourself the permission to be comfortable
Mm.
in talking about something that excites you.
Yeah.
Give yourself the permission to be you, and just say, hey, and maybe you don't talk as fast as we do. Maybe you're slower. Maybe you're sarcastic. Maybe you're dry sense of humor, but use that to your advantage, because there's going to be other people out here that say, "Oh my God, I love sarcastic people. I get that humor." You
Mhm.
know, so be you when you're talking about things, because that's really what people are looking for. Someone who is truly looking to help other people, and you can let that come through. You don't have to get caught up in the I sell stuff now. I gotta, like I
Let me
gotta
be
good
weird.
sale.
No, it's so true. And the thing is, you're not going to appeal to everybody. You're not
you
going to,
know,
the people that are going to see my videos and Cindy's videos are not going to see your videos. There's just, we all have our own kind of, personality and style and the things we're going to talk about. And not to mention, most of you are probably in a company that has more than one product, right? You have, like, if you're in a company that's very heavy on anti-aging or weight loss or whatever it is, I mean, you're going to kind of have your demographic that you want to speak to. And also, Cindy, and I'm sure you're probably on the same page with this. Are you a little more, you kind of said this in the beginning, but are you a little more promotional, if you will, in your stories?
yes,
Yeah, that's what I figured.
yes, and I'll use straight up links to my products in my stories. And what I found, conversion wise, and to help people out, because you get all kinds of people that are really good at buying stuff online to not so good at buying stuff online, and they
Mm.
get very confused. So the easier that you can make that that transaction for them, the better. The
Right.
more direct you are, because they just want the link. They want to go check it out. And if it, anything like me, just let me go see it, and don't give me the runaround. Just
Yeah.
let me see it, and
Yeah.
then I can decide, and I can ask you questions if I want to. But
Right.
I'm a lot. I'm promotional in stories. I've started utilizing and repurposing content in stories as well, because when life is busy and you
Yeah.
need to stay consistent, and the same thing with my posts, I repurpose, and I will sometimes finagle them so that they are a little bit different. Other times I don't have time for that. I just need to stay consistent that day. But yeah, stories wise.
This is something that's important though. If you get really good at knowing the kind of content you want to create, which again you only figure that out by doing it, right? You can't figure out like, do I like playing hockey?
Yeah.
You got to play hockey. Do I like playing football or baseball? You got to play the game. That's it. There's the only way you're going to figure it out. It's the only way you're going to get good at anything. But once you do, like I repurpose the same content, posts, videos, stories over and over and over and over again because they work. Now it takes, probably years, 3, 4, 5 years to really figure out like all the kinds of content and you save it in a database. You can use, I mean, there's so many different ways you can save the content. We typically use Dropbox, right? But have all your best content that does get good traction. Now, again, if you're a month into creating content, that's not going to happen. But
Right.
when you're a situation like some of you are in, where you've been creating content for years, like, why would you always think you have to create original content? Like, you can
Yeah.
take stuff that works and post it over and over and over again, not like every week, the same
No.
exact things, but
No.
you can spread it out over time for stories, reels, like a lot of my content, even my live interviews, videos like this, it's not like the first time I've ever talked about this. We talk about the
Yeah.
same stuff over and over again because
Yeah.
it's not about talking to the same people. Like a lot of you, how many of you have never seen Cindy before? Right? Drop it to the comments. How many of you have seen me for the first time? That happens. Like you would be shocked by how many people on every live video are seeing me for the first time. It's a brand new follower, a brand new person. And I've been putting out content for well over a decade, right? Cindy's been doing it for years. Like, but you get new people all the time. Why you keep repeating a lot of the same stories, a lot of the same lessons, a lot of the same insights, a lot of the same types of content. So that's a big piece to this also,
Yeah.
is once you figure it out, once you have a lot of clarity on the content, you can just keep posting the same kinds of content or literally the exact same content.
Oh yeah.
Reels, etc.
Exactly. And you know what? You need to get good at utilizing your insights and your data on the platforms themselves as well. Go back and take a look at what worked so well that you would maybe recreate it or do it again. Because again, those platforms are telling you what people like to see from you.
Ooh, yeah.
So help yourself out that way and utilize that data that's already there, you know?
And can we give people an idea? What'd you do last month? Your record month? What'd you do?
Sales wise?
Yeah.
I was a little over 54,000 points.
Just insane.
And I'm working on it.
4,000.
I'm going to crush it this month too.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Every other month you're like breaking your own record. But does everyone see how like amazing that is? See, anyone can set records and crush it their first 6 months, their first year, because they have influence or they're bringing a team over, they're starting from scratch. But 5.5 years in, Cindy is still breaking her own records. She's still one of the top people in the world, not just in Canada, but in the world in personal performance. And that to me is really exciting because again, what does that mean? Why is that so inspiring? Because most people are probably in the same business, been promoting the same product or company or whatever that looks like for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. So what does this mean? This means at any given time you can pivot, right? You can make some adjustments. And that's what Cindy did not even a year ago. It went from 3,000 followers to 211,000. I'm pretty sure if you have that many followers, you never have to worry about like, how am I going to sell my stuff? How am I going to generate some leads and sales? Do you see why she's crushing? But it wasn't an overnight thing. So any other tips or anything else you'd like to share, Cindy, before we wrap this up? This has been amazing.
Let me think. I'd say just be curious. Stay curious as to what can you do to make things better. What can you do to take action today? What is someone what if I tried this? And that, because that's really what I've done for the last 9 months. What if we did this? What if we did this? Would that help? What if I could do this for them? Would that help? Maybe we should do this. And it just kind of it ended up building. And you just start to see it start to scale. And then you get to a point where you're like, oh, now what are we gonna do?
Right.
Now, like, how do we keep going, kind of thing. And to me, like, it's like a little bit of a, like, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a game. Like, what can I do next? Can I help some people learn how I do it? Like, what can I do now to help that side of it, right? So
it is funny because people think like they see you or they see me or they see some of these people that I've had on the show. They're like, oh my gosh, they have so much energy and they have so much passion. And it's like, yeah, but at one point all of us did not. We were just like you, going, oh, like, what am I going to talk about? Like,
yeah.
Upload a video? That's so weird.
Well, in a live
Yeah.
video. Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, I remember back the day before live video existed. It was actually harder because you would record a video and you'd watch it and you'd be like, I sound like that. I look like that. Like, delete, right? Or you'd upload it and you're like, it's just like so cringy. But here's what was beautiful is you would upload it and you get like one positive comment, you get one like, and you're like, or someone said like, thank you. And this is how you know you're on the right path. For those of you that struggle with this, you start getting thank yous. You start getting people asking questions. Like, that's how you know you're kind of on the right path. And what I think helped me, and I used to have a deep fear of public speaking. So what helped me, because for 10 years I was in network marketing before I ever did my first video. So I kind of had that advantage that I kind of got over a little bit of my insecurities and fear. But like, I would always, this is when I was speaking, not videos per se, but I kind of transitioned this into videos. But I would think about like the people that were new, like I used to be, or, they kind of had a problem that I used to have. And like, I would try to think about that person versus trying to impress someone that like is already very successful or already, is out there doing the stuff that works. Like, I'm trying to talk to the people that are broken, struggling, or they're not winning. They're not, like, I try to think about those people, the new people, right? The people that like I know are where I once was, and I make it about them. And it just helped me with my content because that's who you want to talk to, right? And this is why it's so important. You said this early on, is to pay attention to who's paying attention to you. Pay attention to the comments and the responses and the messages people are sending you, because that actually helps you continue to create more and more content, because you kind of see like I'll say things sometimes where I'm like, I just say it and I don't even think it's a big deal. But then somebody will be like quoting me, or they'll reach out and say, man, when you said this one tip, or my biggest takeaway was this, you're like, oh, really? Maybe I should talk about that more often. Like, I didn't realize that valuable. And I think a lot of us don't realize we all have a story. We all have something of value to share. But until you open your mouth, you don't realize the things that are going to land. And all of us have a miracle in our mouth. All of us start at suck, embrace the suck. That's what Cindy had to do. That's what I had to do. But eventually, I might be interviewing you on Money Monday a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, because you created the success and took action. And now you're inspiring people the way Cindy is today. So, Cindy, you're amazing. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being available. Congrats on having record month after record month. And I have no doubt you will continue to do some big things. And we just appreciate you sharing and always being willing to hop on the show. So thank you.
Absolutely. I'm so grateful you had me. Thanks so much.
You're the best. Bye, everyone. Let's go.